Greetings everyone, my name is Etterville, and welcome back to my Let's Play of Mega Man Maker. In this episode, I'll cover a combination of both Fierce Mid levels and levels that I find online, mostly the former. I'll begin with this stage, Mega Man 4 Megamix Part 3 by MrDocRobot, with 5 plays and a score 0. This will be a pre-recorded episode, so there will be no chat to the right. Now, if you want one of your levels to be featured in a future episode like this one, please leave its level ID either in the comment section below, on Twitter, or on my Discord server, the information of which can be found on the bottom right part of the screen, as well as in the description. In Part 2, which I covered during the last live stream, I finished the Cosmic Citadel levels, so now we're in the Wily Fortress levels. Wily Fortress 1 was famous for only having Metar enemies. In this engine though, there's only 4 types of Metar enemies. The regular Metools, the Metars, the ones that fire goo, and the metal cannons. Ah, here they are. And as is a Megamix, all the stages are mini reduxes. I guess this was a Med Crusher. Tougher than the original, to be honest. Could have placed an extra life for that. Now let's see what's up here. Normally you can only access this with base, but because of clipping I can do that instead. So let me take the intended Mega Man route, then I'll double back and take the base route. So that was the first route. This boss's actual weakness is the ring boomerang. And now let's go through the base route. I can see that jump being impossible without base, or if we don't use the skull barrier. Take two at this. See, that went by a lot better. Unlike the base-only route, which you can access with Mega Man in Part 2, in this one, you're forced to use a special weapon if you're Mega Man. And as you can't fire upwards, you're forced to again. And that's a base route completed with Mega Man. So it's time for the rematches. If I recall correctly, he was weak to the Dust Crusher. Right, man? Only one way to find out. I guess it's Bright Man then. Drill Man. Now you're Dive Man. Even during the original fight, I did not like using his weakness, too risky. I prefer to just use the charge shot. Toad Man. Dust Man? Ringman. And there you are, fair man. I'd rather just use the charge shot. And that's the last of them. Same weaknesses as the original. Out of all the Megamix entries, I say this is the best one. And once again, I can blast through the base stored Mega Man. So the first Wily machine, one boss for each phase. Now onto the capsule. Certainly one of the longer stages, but not as long as the original. After all these Megamixes are about half the originals. And thus ends this series. As I mentioned beforehand, parts 1, 2, and 3 are better than the 3 previous Megamixes, and because of splitting the 3 different parts, it lags much less. I'd like to see your take on a Mega Man 5 Megamix. Second up is Dr. Wily Boss Rush by Zen, with 25 plays and a score of 6. Time for the boss rush. I've been playing through this series of levels by Zen for a few weeks now. Only one enemy type so far, those aeronauts. As well as the turn wheel being the only gimmick. No checkpoints in the middle either. And now I lose all my special weapons. Are there gonna be mini stage segments before you face off against each boss? If so, that's interesting. They've been nerfed anyways to take double damage. So I need to collect all 4 keys. I suppose these are all the gimmicks we saw earlier. In earlier stages, that is. Lucky guess there. Halfway there. This stage sure allows us air nuts. I see. That way we don't re-enter the same passageway. Concrete Man is still one of the toughest bosses in this engine, at least for me. It used to be Ring Man, now it's him. And that's all 4 of them done. I like the idea, it's just that each of the passageways aren't really that interesting, outside of maybe one of them. Let's give Prime Man some time to shine. He's been out of the spotlight for too long. Time Man? What's going on up there? What did you clip on to? And it's over. This took longer than it should have because that Time Man got stuck on something. Otherwise, this stage kinda just existed. Third up is Norfair by AnimeGame, with 6 plays and a score -1. Is this the Norfair from Metroid 1 or Super Metroid? Also, why do I start with a star crash? Judging by the design, it's the one from Super Metroid. A lot more verticality. Oh, I see. To replicate the high jump, or perhaps space jump. The question is, where is the end of the stage then? Do I have to escape from here and get to Torian, or somewhere else? It's been a long time since I last played Super Metroid, so I don't know exactly where to go. Bad placement there. Looks like I need to get the bombs. This is where a map would be handy. To the top left it is. Oh, there's the bomb. It was that close all this time. As well as an M-tank. Now let's see what's down over here. Let's see, checkpoint. I want to keep going down over here. Do I need all these special weapons in order to complete the stage? If that's the case, there's 3 more to collect. That's 3. I already checked out the lower right side there, so let's check this side. It's from the other side. Don't worry, this will be edited down a bit in post, so you don't have to see me running around as much. At the very least, the stage doesn't lag, unlike many other Metroidvania levels. And now we're back in the main hallway. Down over here is a checkpoint, which I will use now for a life restore. I'll take the lower route down here. I see no other way crossing it without damage boosting. I'm not going down there just yet. I want to see if there's something important to this side. And lo and behold, there is the Ice Slasher. What? And hopefully not break the boundary. Seriously? Because it seems impossible to collect that, I'm going down over here instead. Another jerkish enemy placement. Aha, so that's what I needed. And this opens up the shortcut to the right, as well as up here. There's the boss. That marks the end of the stage. Definitely felt like a wide open stage, and most of the collectibles were optional. You only need the Hyper Bomb and Oil Slider in order to complete it. Fourth up is Magical Fantasy Fortress Adventure by Captain Pollution, with 14 plays and a score of 1. This is a Captain Pollution level, so I expect to die a lot. The question is, how many times? And because of this will be edited down in post. I don't trust myself with these sorts of spike jumps. Mostly just careful spike dodging by walking to the left or right. And that was the full first section done. And there are 2 checkpoints there, so checkpoint placement so far is on the fairer side, I guess. Definitely not as tough as the last level I played by Captain Pollution. In that one, I only made past the first 2 sections before giving up. So far so good. I thought I was going to be immediately dropped into a spikefall section. And that's why I love flutter jumping. Or repeatedly using the shine. That's what I'll call it. Checkpoint density is really on the more generous side. I was worried this stage was going to be much tougher, but it isn't. Not yet anyways. My tune may change in the near future. Got distracted by the enemy there. I won't go for the M-Tank. Not worth it. The most deaths so far, mainly due to spikes. Despite the stage being on the more challenging side, I still find it manageable. The stage's difficulty curve is a bit, it's ebbing and flowing. I guess is the breather part of the stage, to relax the players before the final climactic section. Wait a minute. Am I gonna be chased by a firewall? Of course I was. That previous room was rather suspicious. If this was a harder stage, it would have moved at twice the rate. And now I lose all my special weapons, until I finish these sections. I suppose they're all only weak to the Mega Buster. Overall, this was a decent stage at the very least. At first I was worried it's going to be a really difficult level, but it was actually on the challenging but fair side. My least favorite part was the starting one because of how slow it was. But once I made past the first section, the stage became more dynamic and fun. I especially like the flutter jumping sections. I recommend this stage to players who are somewhat skilled in Mega Man Maker. Maybe moderately skilled would work too, but then you may have some trouble during the first section and the section with the shine. Fifth up is Arctic Base version 2 by KXI with 7 plays and a score -1. As a reminder to all of you viewers, don't take all my comments as being objective ones. Many of them are subjective. For instance, during the last stage I played by KXI, many of my complaints were actually subjective. I'm just not too keen on those kinds of stages. My apologies if you were offended, KXI. I didn't want to imply your level was bad. It's just that I don't really like precision spike sections. I always tended to have problems with these sorts of jumps in Mega Man Maker. I never liked those sorts of challenges in Mega Man Maker, but that's a subjective complaint. To be honest, my biggest complaint about this stage is the inconsistent difficulty curve. The difficulty spikes up and suddenly it craters. There were specifically one or two spots in this stage where it suddenly got tougher, and then the rest weren't really that tough. Really, the only tough part of the stage was that spikefall section. Even the underwater section could be done with a bit of practice. It's because of that one spikefall section why the stage got a negative score. It was made for a different audience in mind. Someone who is much more skilled at positioning in Mega Man Maker. Sixth up is Weapon Capsule Relay 51 by YouTube Social HD 2 with 22 plays and a score of 2. If you watched my LP series for long enough, you know the drill behind this series. If not, here's a quick primer. Every 4 to 5 screens is dedicated to the use of a different special weapon, and every screen has its own background and foreground tileset combination. Think of these levels as being simple tutorials for each of these special weapons. The stages very rarely deviate from this pattern that I just outlined. By the way, you can get soft locked on this screen. If you end up destroying the Crystal Jewel too early, there's no way to reset that room. You can't backtrack back up. And that's the stage. Nothing more to say about it. Seventh up is Frosted Flight by BlueCrosshairs with 11 plays and a score of 4. Let's do the hard version. I think I'm skilled enough. I won't go for the E-Tank, it's not worth it. So far so good, not too hard. This is the safest way of doing this. Nice escalation of challenges, even on hard mode. There doesn't seem to be any gotcha moments either. Also a plus. And checkpoint density is acceptable. GG. On stage, I'd mark this as being my honorable mention. Eight up is Legend of the Charge Kick Master by ObtainTheGrain with 60 plays and a score of 17. Starting off heated, I see. No deviation to challenge here. Could've made it half the length. This may take a few attempts. Or not. Got on my third attempt. Usually that's much harder to pull off. And that's it. Ninth up is Bad Apple by Snowflakes with 233 plays and a score of 87. Now let's find out why this stage got such an impressive score. First reason, this level was text edited and used manual tiling. There must be a shopman up there. The way it is right now, it looks like a custom gimmick. But no, it's just invisible enemies. Those are likely flying shells. Not sure what enemy is up there. I didn't realize you could freeze them in place like that. So now they're acting as sentries. Multiple pathways, I see. Sadly, it's only one way. I can definitely see why I got such an impressive score. Interesting, the stage loops on itself. The way the stage is set up reminds me of the debug graphics. Mistimed that. They fire a series of 6 volleys. Normally, I don't like using the rolling cutter, but it works for this stage. Ah, I see. I have to go down here instead. And those other pits were clearly delineated as being bottomless ones because they faded out to black. An interesting stage with a unique aesthetic. I like the stage looping. I just wish that idea was explored further. It's not an honorable mention of mine. The level design itself is below par, but all the text editing is what makes it stand out. So, out of the 9 levels I covered in this episode, my favorite one would be Magical Fantasy Fortress Adventure by Captain Pollution, with an honorable mention going to Frosted Flight by BlueCrosshairs. So in the next episode, I'll be covering the level pack / quote-unquote fan game Dr. Ride Tree by Roger 2. Well then, thanks for watching and have a nice day.